coming soon to Metro TV.
Kids always say what they wanna.
Welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. And my guest is Reverend Father Andrew Nilante Campbell. And the Nilante is put there for a special reason. Good afternoon to you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. How have you been?
Been fine. Been kept busy. When you're parish priest of a big parish like Christ the King, there's always plenty of work to do. So I've been kept quite busy. And then the anniversary, we just celebrated 70 years anniversary of Christ the King. So that also took a lot of work, preparing and different activities we had. And also my birthday, my 75th birthday, and all the activities that went with that.
Well, happy belated birthday. I'm not sure I was there to wish you, but I've got the opportunity, so I wish you. I want to start from your Ghanaian name, Nilante. How did that come about?
Many people ask me that question. I was working in Galand, in Galmashita area. I worked there for over 22 years. I got to know all the chiefs, fishermen, and I used to go around Bukum and have service there, service with the fishermen. And I heard somebody say, firstborn boy of a family is called Nilante. And I'm the firstborn boy in my family. So hey, I like that name. so I took and I called myself Nilante. And since then, everybody calls me Nilante. I'm the firstborn boy in my family. So that's how I got it. So I liked it since that time.
And it's not just the name. You're Ghanaian now.
Yes, now I got my Ghanaian passport.
How did that happen?
I decided after many years, I'm 50 years in this country. Why should I apply every year for a residence permit? I said, I'm part of the family. So I feel, this is where I've been for 50 years. I presume, I pray to God I will die here, I'll be buried here. I don't want to leave here. This is my father. You should have had this a long time ago. So I voted in the last election.
Really?
Don't ask me why I voted.
I was going to ask you who you voted for.
That's in my heart.
I see. So both parliamentary and presidential?
Yes, both, yes.
But you
both.
won't tell us?
No, I won't. That's in my heart.
Which constituency did you vote in?
I was here at Christ the King.
Okay.
Oh, what's it? It won't come to me now. It's
okay. Well, myself, I'm lost. My sense of direction is bad. But interesting. But aside having been, so it's what, naturalization that you did? Yeah, so aside that, you also have Ghanaian mannerisms, things that when you're talking, I don't know if anybody has told you, you just did, and it's something that is typical of a Ghanaian. I guess after 50 years, you've become...
When I go back to my family in Ireland, they tell me, you speak Ghanaian English. I don't know Ghanaian English, is just the way I say it. It just becomes part of you, so that's it. That's
interesting. I see. I heard you can speak Ga. So not only are you called Nilante, but you can also speak Ga and even sing in Ga.
Don't ask me to sing in Ga, because I haven't been blessed with a beautiful voice with some Ghanaians have.
Oh, but it's a joyful sound to the Lord.
It is, yes. We'll leave that for another time.
Okay, so let me ask you something in Ga.
Don't get to it, because
I'm not very good in Ga, but I can ask Tacho Boutin.
Yeah, Jogban.
Okay.
Nibuhu.
Mio Jogban. Okay, that's as far as I can go. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Just tell us a bit about yourself. So what kind of things that are Ghanaian have you acclimatized with? The food?
Oh, the food. I love Ghanaian fruits. Mangoes.
Okay.
No, I remember some years ago, what was it, on one TV station, they had the cooking. What was it? I was asked to cook. Now, I've never cooked. I've always had somebody cooking for me. So they wanted me to cook on this show. What was the show? I forget it now. But I learned how to cook contumely and boiled yam, and then also do dessert,
Yes. So she would come home during vacation and talk about Father Campbell, always talking about Father Campbell. And I was like, okay, that sounds foreign. That sounds like an Englishman. But my assumption was that it's a Ghanaian. And one day we asked, so who is Father Campbell? I said, oh, it's a white man. But she had spoken about Father Campbell, the narrations, nothing indicated that this was a white person. Tell us about your interaction with St. Rose's. How did that come about?
I was 35 years there, and I used to give retreats every term, 3 times a year. Many of those students now, I meet them in Corlebu, I meet them in military hospital, I meet them in the courts. You know, it's wonderful because I loved going to St. Rose's. I spent a whole week with them. The topics included, I had a special topic for every retreat, and I'd have class by class by class. Topic on forgiveness, topic on prayer, topic on virginity, topic on good relationship with your family. We picked topics for all of these. And we always had confession too. They used to line up for confession. I think they used to wait specially for me to go to confession. Then we had prayer. So we had a whole day with each class then. And I must say, I loved going there. I loved it. And then at the last retreat, they made a promise. So, and the promise was written out. I promised to go to church every Sunday. I promised to be obedient to my parents. I promised to pray every day. I promised to stay a virgin till I get married. I promised always. And they all write and they signed it. So ask Annie Rosekin, how do you keep your promises?
Exactly.
Where is your promise? Is it in your Bible or where is it? Of course, they say, I know the promises you talk about, Father. I've kept them. And I'm so happy because it was a blessing going down there. I loved it. And never once in all my years there that I have to report one student for indiscipline. And the classes were maybe 200, 300, but yet, then they used to show them videos, many videos. I'd collect videos. The one that they will always remember is Silent Scream. Silent Scream was made by an American doctor, Dr. Nathanson. Okay. He performed over 70,000 abortions. And one day he was working in the laboratory and he saw when an egg and sperm come together as life, and he changed his whole philosophy. And instead of committing abortions, he did a U-turn on pro-life. And he made this video called Silent Scream of a real abortion, and how the child screams before he's killed in the mother's womb. And the girls will tell you, ask any girl to watch it, they'll never forget it, never. And they used to discourage them to do anything. So they'd come to me anytime they had pregnancies, they'd come and I'd help them. I always helped them. So it was a blessing going to St. Rose's. And I know those who are watching now, they will afterwards they will come up and say, well done, well done. Even last Sunday for my farewell mass, many of the St. Rose's girls were there from different groups.
That must have been touching and a very nice experience.
But I find them everywhere. And I tell them...
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. And I tell them, I took care of you for 35 years. Now, I'm in trouble, so please help me. No matter where you are, they're every place, everywhere you go. I went to St. Rose. I said, good, I need you. I went one time to a hospital and I needed to see a doctor. I had some problem in my ear. It needed to be cleaned. And a big long queue of people. Then this lady came on, she was the human resource. Come on, Father, come, skip everybody, come, let's go. And I got in front of everybody. I didn't have to queue. They said, how can Father Campbell queue? How can you go to the bank? They won't allow you to queue. Father Campbell, how can you queue? Oh my goodness, no matter what.
How do you manage that though? Because of your work, you sort of turned into a celebrity. How do you?
Oh, sometimes it's not. Like this morning I went somewhere and visited somebody and I want to take your photograph, Father. I mean, this sort of thing. That's not me, you know. I like to be just a normal person myself. But when you start doing these things, I get embarrassed. I do. Give me a photograph. Take a photograph. No, this one.
Well, they've seen somebody they admire and would want to take
What am I doing? What am I? I'm just an ordinary Catholic priest who's doing the work as a priest. And what is my work? Just continuing the work of Christ, bringing love and hope to people. I worked in the prisons for many years in Usherford, prepared people for the firing squad. I worked with them. I worked with prostitutes in cantonments, you know, trying to take them off the streets. I work with street children. I work with lepers. I work with all the disadvantaged.
I'd like to get into a bit of that, but before, I want to know, when you say that you work with people and prepare them for the firing squad.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I was in Usherford for many years as a chaplain, the Catholic chaplain. We used to bring them food, bring them medicines. Then I had church service there every Wednesday. And we used to have a great time there. I always remember those who were there, people like J.H. Mensah and others. And then it was during the Troubles when you were brought in from Enswam, and you were brought in on a Friday night. And the place would be quiet. And they would take away all those up in the... there was a special wing for prisoners there. They were condemned prisoners. So they would take all those out and bring those in for the firing squad for the next morning. So they come in on a Friday afternoon, and the place used to go quiet. And then early Saturday morning, around 4 o'clock, they were taken out to the firing squad at John Tay Memorial School, out that way. And I would see them beforehand, prepare them, go to the cell, talk to them, those who want confession, I pray with them.
What did you talk about with them?
I give them encouragement and give them hope. Because they were broken hearted. And I just, what else can I say? You know, I'm just there telling them that God loves you no matter what. God loves you, that you're a child of God and you needn't worry such and such. Do you want to ask God forgiveness for anything such? And I give them blessing, give them confession.
I want to ask a question in there, so that if a man is about to die, is his confession genuine?
Why not?
If he makes a confession and he talks about renewing his faith in God, is that genuine?
Why should a person realizes, you know, I'm going to meet God soon, I'm really sorry, all that I've done wrong, I'm sorry, and really makes a good confession, is really, truly, and really sorry for his sins.
I'm asking because, is it coming from the person's heart? And pardon me for being skeptical, but is it coming from the person's heart, or is it because of a certain fear of going to hell, or not pleasing God? Well,
it could be all of those. But the main thing is that you know you're going to go to God, and you don't feel worthy. You know, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to go to God. I'm not good enough to go to heaven. So, Father, please just ask God to forgive me. I've done this, and I'm sorry. And I ask God to forgive me and give me forgiveness. And I take it genuine, and I just take it, this is what he wants, and I'm not going to question him. This is what his conscience tells him. And he makes a good confession. I'll give him absolution and pray for him.
Let's talk about your work with lepers. Had you always... Is it something that you were? Was it easy? Because I remember back in, well, what I will remember will be what I was told, but it's not new to me. Your work in Weija Leprosarium. I remember a few years back in the 90s, there wasn't much knowledge about leprosy, and people would often stigmatize them. How did you get to that point where we would see you holding their hands, dancing with them, eating with them? How did you get to that point?
I remember when I first came to Ghana, I was working at the Holy Spirit Cathedral, and I was out in my shirt and shorts, cleaning and sweeping outside. And then this man came with a plastic bag, and then I noticed that he had no fingers. And I said, hey, this man looks like a leper. I'd never seen a leper before. I only read about them in the Bible. Never seen a leper in my life. And he said, Father, he says, I want to give you a present. And I said, you know, a leper gave me a present of mangoes. He said, it was mangoes inside from. And I went to Weija, and I was shocked. The conditions there were shocking. They weren't treated properly. They were hungry. To go to the hospital, to go to Kolibu, they didn't have the money. When you hire a taxi, the taxis were very difficult. How can I take a leper in a taxi? How can I do that? You know, so I saw their conditions, and I said, no, these are the people I want to help. And I just kept, you know, helping them and bringing them food, asking people to give me money to buy food for them, to buy drugs, to send them to the hospital and things like this. And that's how it started. And I helped all of them in Weija. When somebody would die, I'd bury them. I often brought them in the back of my car, you know, bought the coffin and took them off to the cemetery in my car and looked after them. And then Hope found out, the leprosarium in Hope found out that I'm helping those in Weija. Please, can you help us? Then those in Nkanchina, you know Nkanchina? No. Nkanchina is up in the north, and near Oti River, Oti district.
Okay.
So in Nkanchina, they also found out, so Father, can you come and help us? And then those over in Kokofu Father, can you help us? Those sound an ankle. So I'm sort of connected with all of them now, and I just feel it's a blessing. These people, they've got nothing, but they've got everything. Everything in the sense they've got the joy and happiness. And this is what life is about. It's not what you have, it's who you are. You know, are you happy? Are you content with life? You don't need things to make you happy. And they have happiness. And they've got that genuine love in their heart. You know, every Christmas, my first Christmas gift I ever got was always from Wage of Lepers. There was always a sheep and tomatoes and yam. Every Christmas he brought me my first Christmas gift. So it was sort of a genuine sharing and giving, and that used to touch me, that they could actually do that, coming with the first. Look what they get. I mean, even now, they're on the Leap Fund. And what do they get? 1 CD a day. I mean, the prisoners didn't eat food last week, and some prisoners, and secondly, they're getting 1 CD, 80 pesos. The lepers are getting 1 CD. They're getting less. And prisoners went on strike.
And they've done nothing wrong.
And what do the lepers do? And you only get 1 CD. So they're happy. I mean, they like conditions. I mean, in Wage, we're making things better for them now. But they're a blessing. To me, they're a blessing because they can't give back anything to you. But they help people to share. They help people to give and say, look, you know, these people, they need help. So in that sense, they're a blessing to work with.
You also did some work with street children.
Oh, I do a lot with street children.
Okay.
This started 5 years ago. 5 years. In the church every day I saw people begging, and the members of my church complained. They said every time we're accosted by his kids and others for after mass for money. So I started a soup kitchen. I heard of the soup kitchen from other countries. I didn't know much about them. But I mean, a soup kitchen is a soup kitchen when you get soup. So I decided to start, and I started with 5 or 6 people. And then it just grew and grew, and I said then, okay, we have a collection every Friday, and that will help towards the support. And that's how it started. It went from 5 to 10, 20, 50, 60, 70. And during the lockdown, we were up to 800 in one day. 800. So we've given food out to about 350,000 since we started. Now, what we do is we don't just feed them. It's not just a matter of feeding.
Okay.
You know, these kids are on the streets. We go and visit them where they sleep. We go there and
they
see.
Sleep. They find places around the streets to
you should
sleep.
see the places they sleep, and you'd be shocked. Some of them sleep in Temel Station, others around the National Theatre, different places. We go and visit them there. But our aim is not just to feed them, you know, to feed them, to show them love, to show them they are needed and they're cared for. And we want to get them off the street. So we sent a few to school.
Okay.
We sent 2 of them to Prince Boateng School up in Enswell. Now, they've graduated from JHS. Now they're in St. Martin's Secondary School. And they're fine boys. They've come from broken families. See, this is a big problem in Ghana. We have too many broken families. Too many, you know, a stepmother or stepfather kicks these children out and get off, we can't feed you, can't pay your school fees, and then they end up on the streets. They think, you know, the streets in Accra are paved with gold, and they come here and they get into big trouble. So we want to get them off the streets and give them an education. When they get into trouble too, we have to bail them out. At times they're fighting, we have to bring them to the hospital. So we help them in many different ways. My vision is to build another soup kitchen in Osu. So we'll have 2 soup kitchens in Accra. And then I would like to go a stage further. I'm looking for land out in the Tenta as a shelter. That the children that we get off the streets, we can bring them to this shelter and learn, they stay there a few months and they learn hairdressing, they learn some carpentry, they learn something. And they do something useful. Because you always need an electrician, you always need a carpenter or a mason or somebody. Let them learn some trade and then get them out into the workforce and be able to work from there. So they get them off the streets. So this is what we intend to do.
So you're a simple priest, but you get big things done. How do you get things done? How do you get people to patronize the soup kitchen?
I ask. You know,
Which is what the Bible says.
Let me tell you a funny story. You know, it's to do with President Mahama. He came to Wager one time, and he visited the lepers. Very nice, and he went around. We shook hands with everybody. We always shook hands, and then he came back. Then we were just about to sit down. I said, President Mahama, I'm building a leprosarium up in Canchina. I built a 40-room facility, and I went short of money. So I said to him, I said, Your Excellency, I've gone short of money. I need money for the leprosarium up in Canchina. Can you help me? And he looked at me. He said, Father Campbell, you're a real beggar priest. So I said, I'm not begging for myself. I'm not begging for myself. I said, I'm begging for, you know, for these people. He says, no problem, I'll give it to you. So went back to Accra. I went to Dublin, my home, and I came back and he still hadn't given me the money. So I went to the house. I had no appointment. I haven't been to a president's house before. So I went to the house and I met all the people there in the house. And then he came in and said, Father, can I help you? I said, you promised me the money for it. He said, I forgot. I'll send it to you this afternoon. And then there was another man sitting there who was a big distributor of rice. He says, come here. Give Father rice. Give him a truck of rice. He needs it for the day. So that day, I got my money. And I got my rice
in addition.
And ask. Ask and you will receive. And if you ask, and people know where it is going. Like last Christmas, the Vice President, Bawumia, he gave me 2,000 bags of rice. 2,000, a lot of rice, a lot of rice. So I got 2,000. I fed 31 institutions. And thanks to Cocoa Board, they gave me their trucks to deliver the rice all over the country. So when people see that, you know where the rice is going, where the food is going, people give generously.
To ask. All we have to do is ask.
Ghanaians are generous. When they see a need and you're genuinely asking for that, you'll get them. One thing is, I've put up over 22, 23 buildings since I came to Ghana. Schools, hospitals and others. I've never gone short of money. Never. And all the money is from local money here.
Because in your work, you're not allowed to earn money. You don't.
No, I don't have a wage. I have no wage. So I can't look for a rise in my wages.
Okay, that's interesting. I wanted to ask you about your passion for young people, not only just the street children and all, but in recent times, young people have been complaining about, and this is not going to be a political conversation, but they've been complaining about their conditions of living. And I'm sure it's not just a Ghanaian problem. Around the world, you hear young people talking about the generational gap, the lapse between the generation before them. They don't feel that connection. They feel that nobody's thinking about their future. When you hear things like that, what do you say?
You see, the problem in Ghana at the moment, we've got too many broken families. Parents don't have time for their children. They don't have time. I asked a little boy in church one day, when was the last time Mommy said she loved you? He said, when I was a baby. Now, he couldn't remember a baby, but that's what he told me. He told me that. You know, the families are breaking down, and that worries me. Parents don't have time for their children. Parents are more concerned in, where they live, what car they drive, and all of this. They should spend time with their children, get to know their children, talk to their children. What are their problems? What are their worries? I mean, I've helped a few kids that were going to commit suicide. And they talked to me, and I was able to convince them. They just needed some love from somebody who cares about them, somebody who will take an interest in them and say, look, you're a good person, you've got a future, you've got talent. I mean, these street kids, they've got talent. They've got talent. And when they go to school, they do well. So you don't pull down somebody. Spend time with them. Like when I was a younger priest at the cathedral, I had my own football team there. And I used to put the boys, my team, in my car. That time I had the VW, the Volkswagen.
It's a famous car.
The Beetle.
Yes.
Do you remember
I heard about it.
And I used to put the whole football team. How the policemen didn't stop us, I don't know. You know.
All, 11, 12 players in there?
Don't ask. Don't go any further. You're letting out my secrets. You know? And we'd go to places and we'd play football together. We'd train together. And it brought a great, sort of camaraderie. They realized somebody cared about them. Somebody sat down with them and, this is what we want today.
How can we remedy that? Because there's a certain
parents should
reality.
realize, parents should stop thinking of money.
But they need the money to provide for the children.
They need the money. Look, I came from a home. We didn't have everything in that home, but we had love. My mommy and my daddy were the best mommy and daddy in the whole world. They had time for us. They loved us. We didn't have radio. So we had a radio. We didn't have TV. We didn't have a telephone. We didn't have a car. But we had love. And that's what's missing. Parents coming home late at night time and bringing work with them. Children, where did they go? They go into the room and they're on the computer and they're on the WhatsApp and all sorts of things. How many times do parents eat with their children? How many times do parents take their children out to a cram mall and take them out for a meal? How many times? My dad used to take me to football matches every Sunday. Even when I was in the seminary, I used to go from the seminary to the football ground. I'd meet my father there. And we'd meet behind behind the goalpost. And my father would be there waiting for me, along the barrier. And then he'd take out of his pocket my favourite, a bar of chocolate. He says, Andrew, this is for you. I mean, small little things like this I can remember. There was love, there was an interest, there was time. And that's what's missing today. Children don't need the best computers. They don't need the best... I mean, some of our kids have the mobile phones and others that they have better than I have. Better than I have. So they don't need... They need love. They need time. They need someone to talk to them. Someone to say, I love you. You are good. You are precious. That's what they need.
Let me bring in what I read about you, that your mentor is Mother Teresa.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Why? Do you know when...
I would have expected maybe Jesus Christ himself.
No, she's a follower of Jesus.
Yes.
So she's... because of her work with, her work with the poor and the needy, her whole life is Christ-centered.
Yes.
But Mother Teresa, when I was ordained a priest, I went to Liverpool for the Holy Week ceremonies. It was a Friday night, Good Friday night. I sat down and watched the television. I saw this program, just something beautiful for God, and it was a program done by a journalist, an English journalist called Malcolm Muggeridge. He was an atheist. And he was sent over to Mother Teresa over in India. That time I didn't know either of them. I sat and watched them because I was tired after Good Friday services. And Malcolm Muggeridge talked about he didn't believe in God. But he went over to Mother Teresa to Calcutta to do the filming for BBC. And his camera crew took all the shots of all the work that she does, except one, and that was the home for the dying. It was a former temple, and it was very dark. And they used to bring the people in off the streets that were dying, and they would take care of them, and they would die in the arms of the Reverend Sisters. They'd have a bath and such. But they wanted to film this home for the dying, and all the lights, the television lights, everything had spoiled. It finished, and it was the last day. And you couldn't just walk out. This was 1970. You couldn't just walk out to the street and buy lights. But Malcolm Muggeridge said, go and take it anyway. It was dark. But they took it, obedience to their boss. They took the dark in the dark. And they went home to England. And when they processed the film, it was perfect. Now Malcolm Muggeridge said, there's something about this woman. There's something, let me go back to her. And he went back. And he went around with her. And the love that she had for people, especially for the poor, the needy, the handicapped, the lepers. And where did that come from except from prayer? Where did that come from? Our time with Christ. Our prayer life. Our prayer life is so wonderful, our prayer life. So this is what attracted me. And I see her as a wonderful example that doing something beautiful for God, that's our motto. That's the motto I've taken for my life. doing something beautiful for God.
Very well. At this point, I want us to take a breather, but what we're going to do is, rewind and get into your life, a little biography about you, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation. So watch this. This is about Father Campbell, the famous Father Campbell. If you didn't know him, you learned something about him from this report.
Born on the 27th day of March 1946 in Dublin, Ireland, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, who has today arguably attained the legendary status for his care for the marginalized, had his early education at the Sisters of Charity School and the La Salle Primary School in Ireland. In October 1970, he obtained a Bachelor of Divinity from the St. Patrick's College. Father Campbell was ordained as a Catholic priest in December 1970 and then posted to Ghana as a missionary priest under the Society of the Divine Word a year later. Since he arrived in Ghana, he has served in many Catholic parishes, including the Holy Spirit Cathedral at Abraka and the Sacred Heart Parish here in Accra, where he established the Sacred Heart Vocational Institute. He never knew what was in store for him or how he would impact on people's lives. But with perseverance and dedication, he has been able to touch many lives. To give meaning to his love for humanitarian services, he founded the Lepers Aid Committee in 1993 to care for persons with leprosy and later birthed the Leprosarium in Weja, Ho, Nankachina, and Kukufu. The Christ the King Soup Kitchen is another initiative of Father Campbell to provide food and help people on the street, those who are homeless and the less privileged persons in society. He has received several honors due to his humanitarian activities, including the Grand Medal Honorary Division from the Government of Ghana, Humanitarian Personality of the Year in the year 2008, Made in Ghana Awards, MEGA, Humanitarian Lifetime Achievement Awards in the year 2007, National Philanthropy Forum and Excellence Awards, and the Humanitarian Award in the year 2020, Exclusive Man of the Year Africa Award, amongst others. After almost a half-century of selfless service, granted Reverend Father Andrew Campbell full Ghanaian citizenship in July 2013 and crowned it with a local name, Ni Lante. On May 21, 2021, he retired after serving as a parish priest for the past 50 years in Ghana. At the ceremony that marked the 70th anniversary of the Catholic Church and official send-off mass for the 75-year-old priest, Father Andrew Campbell of the Christ the King Church at Cantonment in Accra said he will remain in the priesthood fraternity by working behind the scenes for the rest of his life. Special guest of honor for the occasion, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, was full of praise for the man considered by many as a national hero.
Over the decades, your benevolence to health facilities and needy institutions across the country and the communities around you has been remarkable, evident by your soup kitchen, serving hot meals to the hungry, the poor and the needy, day after day. Your unfailing call to action during the COVID-19 pandemic, feeding the less privileged, under the direction of the Very Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, was exemplary and highly appreciated by the government and the good people of Ghana. For 50 years, he has contributed his quota to our society, be it his vocation or growing the extra mile. This I can say he has in all propriety done. His work here at Christ the King and other parishes, his work with the lepers across the country, the Children's Hospital, and the street children, lay bare his unflinching dedication to his vocation and humanity. Indeed, in these areas of ministry, I have been privileged to share a number of engagements with Father Campbell. I serve as a patron of the Lepers Aid in Ghana, and Father Campbell and I share this love for the lepers and for the street children.
Yes, and that's the man of the moment, Reverend Dr. Father Campbell. And I emphasize on doctor because we didn't tell you that, but he was recently, was it recent? You were
last November.
Last November, you were given an honorary PhD. And this is for what?
For looking after lepers and street children.
Okay. I guess it's well deserved. I mean,
so in Ho University, they gave it to me.
Congratulations.
I felt very honored. I mean, to get it just without opening a book.
That's interesting. But tell us about your last Mass. We showed bits of it. How was it? I'm sure it was an emotional one.
It was very emotional, the nuncio to Ghana, that's the ambassador from the Vatican, he was on the altar with me. And then the vice president. The president wanted to come. He wrote and said he would come, but then he was taken away to Europe for those meetings. So the vice president was there with his wife. The speaker of the House was there. There were many MPs there and some other ministers. Former second lady was there. Mrs. and Mr. Arthur was there. Mrs. Betty Mould was there. I mean, there were so many people, so many. The nearly best part of 2,000 people came, you know, I felt very humble, very honored. Why they come just for me? Just for me. I said, for what? For what? I came quietly to Christ. I should leave quietly. Let me leave quietly.
No, obviously that's not going to happen.
So.
Okay, I want to read some messages, and this is coming from Selom Saba in Awoshi. Selom says, Reverend Campbell, you are a true representation of Christ's love. John Benyaminsa from the Good Shepherd Parish, Tema Community 2 says, I am watching you live, Father Andy Campbell. You have done in Ghana and in many Ghanaian youth. Okay, so you have done well in Ghana, and many Ghanaian youth have benefited from you. God bless you. My name is Beauty Osabuti from Kaswa Old Barrier. May God bless him, and may he continue to do the good work of God. Ghana appreciates him. Hello, Father Campbell. This is, he says, hello, Father Campbell is one reverend I love so much, and a fellow, and never had the opportunity to meet him. My name is Reverend Zolali Zoe. I will love to have his number. So these are some of the messages coming up. This doesn't have a name. It says, thumbs up to the Reverend for the good job, 50 years. Reverend, so it's been 50 years. Aren't you tired? You've done a lot of work. No. You're not?
No. So on the coming Monday, I will officially leave Christ the King.
Okay.
And I'm moving out to Wager to the lepers. I have a house there.
So you're not retiring to get some rest?
I'm retiring as a priest in a parish. According to the laws, the canon laws of the Catholic Church, when you're 75, you retire from the parish that you're working in. So I'm retiring from parish work. But I'm not retiring from the priesthood. I'm a priest, as it says, according to the order of Melchizedek, until you die. So I'll always be a priest. I will always be saying Mass every day. I'll be looking after the sick. I'll be visiting the poor. I'll be the baptisms when I'm asked to do baptisms.
So you're not going to take some time off to rest? Maybe
no, I mean,
I'll
go straight in. I'll stay because I can't travel because of the COVID. So I'll stay, and I'll move out on Monday and start work on Tuesday.
Tell us some of your plans for after retirement.
Yes,
what are you going to do?
In Wager, we're putting up, thanks to the Common Fund, they've put up a research centre there, so that has to be finished. And then with the lepers themselves, at the moment they're living in old mud buildings. So now they have new concrete buildings. Each of them has a beautiful room. At the end of their corridor, they have a toilet, bathroom, and a kitchen. So they will move into that. So that will take time to move them into that. And then the research centre. And then looking after the lepers also in Ho. The Common Fund have helped us. We put a wall around the leprosarium and renovated the rooms. Then we started up in a laboratory. And Ghana Health will help us. There's a lot of active cases up there, but about 700 active cases up there. I mean, last year alone in the whole of Ghana, there were over 250 cases of new active cases of leprosy. So I have a lot of work there. And as well as that, the street children. I'm working hand in hand with social welfare, and I hope to start a soup kitchen in Osu. And that will take a lot of work. And then from there, the second phase, where I'm looking for a shelter for these. So all that will take time. So I'll be just as busy meetings and going here, going there, getting this and this, everything.
Where do you get the energy from at 75, and you're still full of energy, making plans after retirement?
I have a lot of plans, a lot ahead. God gives me the grace. What I do every morning, I'm up every morning at 4, and I spend the first hour of the day in prayer.
Okay.
And we have an adoration chapel at Christ the King. So that's, if you want to find me that time, come at 4 o'clock, you'll find me in church at that time. And that's where I spend time. And again, I learned this from Mother Teresa, that she told a young priest, and the young priest said, please, Mother, give me some advice. I'm newly ordained, what should I do? And Mother said, just spend time in the chapel before the Blessed Hour for 1 hour each day. And that's what I want to do, because I'm not a social worker. I'm a man of God. I do bring hope and give love, and I give money when I get money. People need help, I do that. But I'm not there primarily as a social worker. I'm there as a priest, bringing hope to people, bringing love to people in every way. And where do I get that? If I don't love God, and I haven't got God's love in my heart, I'm a social worker. So I'm not a social worker. I'm a man of God, bringing hope, bringing love. I'm not always bringing money to people. I'm not always bringing food. Bringing hope and talking to them, encouraging them. Like when I think of my work at the Cantonment's roundabout, with the prostitutes, I never brought anything with me except rosaries and some scapulars. Just talking to them, just listening to the stories. At times I would sit on the side street and I would talk with the prostitutes one-to-one there and pray with them and talk to them. So it's just giving them hope, giving them encouragement, and telling them, there's better things in life. We'll see what we can do to help you.
One day when you're called back to your Maker, when you're no longer, how would you want to be remembered? Would you want to be remembered at all, and how?
I just want to be remembered as a priest who did his work for God. I pray every day to be a holy priest. That's my prayer every day. Dear Lord, help me to be that holy priest, prayerful priest, a holy priest, and a good priest. That's all I ask for. I don't look for titles. I don't want titles. I don't need titles. Even the citations I get, it makes me feel very humble when all the things they say. I just want to be a simple priest who goes about his work as a priest, just doing normal work, helping people no matter who they are.
Okay. It's been an interesting conversation, Father Campbell. I want to read 3 quick messages before we wrap up. This is coming from Margaret Ayene. She says, this man of God has been a blessing to my family. May God bless him. Please ask Father Campbell, where is Father Peter Maiden? I'm Francis Asari Menu from Ashaman. Hi, Metro TV. I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate Father Campbell for his dedication to his mission work. May God continue to strengthen him. This is from Jonas Yenli in Wa up north. So, Father Campbell, grateful to you for your time here.
Thank you.
You have been described as a man, a missionary of hope. I'm sure the messages we are getting, everybody is confirming that. And truly, may God bless you for your good work. I'm thankful to you for your time on Good Afternoon, Ghana.
I hope to start soon Father Campbell Foundation. And that will take care of the lepers, the street children. We didn't talk about PML Hospital at all, Princess William, or we didn't talk about Cordia Bay. I always call that my hometown where I started a hospital and others there. It'll take care of all of these. So I need support, that when I start this Father Campbell Foundation, I want people to come and support me and help me so I can help all these people who need help. The Children's Hospital, PML Hospital, Cordia Bay, you know Cordia Bay?
No.
Dodua, Aikum, Agomada, Cordia Bay.
I know
area.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so Cordia Bay there.
I see.
You
know your way around. Okay, so yes, do make it a point to pay attention. He'll be starting the Father Campbell Foundation and other projects. You can get in touch and support however you can. But thank you for your time here. My name is Francisca Kakrafos, and good afternoon.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Being in Christ, or what's properly called being born again, is not just a following of divinity. It is a having of the life of divinity in you. Christians are not just followers of Christ. They are havers of the life of Christ. You can follow me and not have anything from me. You just follow me about. But we are not just following Jesus. We got his life in us.
Join the Good Life devotion with Dr. David Binden on this channel to receive biblically authoritative teachings which will usher you into exhibiting the divine life here on earth. The Good Life devotion shows every Monday to Friday from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. and 11 to 11:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Don't miss the special weekend edition on Saturdays and Sundays at 10 p.m. Life is good. Enjoy.
Now in Ghana on Metro TV.
When you grow up, are you going to have a family?
Yes.
And are you going to have children?
Yes.
How many children will you have?
20.
Showing every Sunday evening. Prime time 5 to 5:30 p.m. with a catch-up on Wednesdays 4 to 4:30 p.m.
Kids always say what they wanna.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Trick or treat!